Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. It's July 17th, 2024, and welcome to World Gone Wild. Now, I hope that we stay online. It's been raining and storming all night long. Electrical storm like you've never seen before. Big storms came through, lots and lots of rain, but mostly electricity, lightning. Not to say we've never seen this before, but the point being is that this is on the heels of a very important event in history that needs to be documented and talked about and discussed. And if the power goes out, you'll know why. If we get booted offline, I have seen the lights flicker a couple times, which could cause the Wi-Fi to go out. But for now, we will be on this. Now, I found what could be the most damaging evidence that I think that I've seen at this Trump rally, quote unquote, attempted sassy nation. We're going to use some coded language today. There are people dropping channels. Channels are dropping out all around us. So we have to use coded language. Okay, we've been through this before, even though it's about Trump. We have to use coded language here on YouTube. And that tells you everything you need to know about the right and the left. We've got what appears to be the right and the left coming together. They did this after Blind 11. If you don't know what that is, someone in the chat can help you. Blind 11, they did the same thing. For a moment in time, the right and the left came together. And I believe that this catalyzing event is also doing the same thing, as Trump Jr. is actually saying that this will make his father more moderate. Now, this is really weird because what our show tomorrow will be all about Trump Agenda 47 and 2025. We're going to give you guys our take on that. I know a lot of other people have covered it, but we're going to figure out what this is about, because I was literally shocked when I got into Agenda 2025 and 47. Literally a conservative's, well, I don't want to use that term, but you know what I mean, dream. Everything we could have asked for. And it makes you wonder, why now? Now, there are some obvious, huge red flags in those agendas, which, of course, I don't agree with. But it is the biggest lure, the biggest draw, the perfect scenario that all of us have been asking for. And you have to ask yourself, how is this coming out of Trump's mouth? Now, you'd think that we'd be happy about this, but there's something that's not right. We'll get into that tomorrow. I don't want to spend too much time on that today because we have a lot to cover. But welcome to the channel. Again, if you're new to the channel, we're using coded language. And if you don't know what something is, do not be embarrassed to ask in the chat, and they will help you. The moderator or anyone else in the chat will help you understand what I'm saying. Well, this is a very, very important show today. Now, I'm going to show you some of the most damaging footage. I'll actually have the still shot. I'm not going to show you the footage. I'll link the footage. But here atop the roof, let's make this a little bit bigger so you could see what I'm talking about here. Behind Trump, you see the wipers. We're going to call them wipers. I know what they're really called, but we're going to call them wipers. Right behind him, trained in their scopes, both of them, for almost a full minute, frozen, trained exactly in the direction from which the bullet came. They were literally looking right at him a full minute, looking right at the scrooter through their scopes before the bullet grazed Trump's head. Unbelievable. This is probably one of the most important still shots here and videos. I'm sure it will be taken down at some point, because when you do a search on this video, when you type in the search rooftop wipers and Trump rally, this video does not show up. It's already being scrubbed from the internet because they don't want you to know that the wipers had him in their sights. Now, the media is trying to scramble on this, and they're now saying, if you haven't heard this yet, that they thought that they did have him in their sights. They were actually admitted a full minute before the first bullet was shot. Unbelievable. You got a former president of the United States. As soon as you see someone on a roof, you don't even ask questions. You just take them out. Because nobody should be on a roof. But now the media has scrambled. They have now pivoted and are now admitting that they had him in their sights. But guess what? They thought that he was another police officer. Because that's what police officers do, right? They climb on roofs and they crouch down with long rifles and they hide from the wipers. Unbelievable. So the media quickly pivoted to explain away how it is they were sitting on this roof, trained exactly at a man that with these scopes. Okay, come on. With these scopes, you can see a hair on the chin of a person with these scopes. These scopes are meant to see things from up to several miles away. They also have other scopes that they can't really change out scopes because when a scope is set, you can't just change them out without several minutes of adjustment. But these are supposed to be able to see things from hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of yards away with a very detailed accuracy. They might even have a zoom feature on the scope. There's no way that they didn't not see. Okay, you got to think critically here. Take all the emotion out of it. There's no way they did not see camouflage, a person dressed in camouflage, and mistake them for another police officer. Right? I mean, am I right? He was only 150 yards away, you guys. You see camo on a roof and you see a rifle, that person gets shot immediately. So the question now becomes, since we all know that, if those wipers don't get drug in and put in prison for being co-conspirators, then we all know that this is not what it seems. That will be the nail in the coffin. That will be the final proof for some conservatives. Others will be caught up in the emotion. But essentially, I just showed you undeniable proof. These guys are supposed to be protecting the former president of the United States. There's no way that if they saw camo, the scrooter was dressed in full camo, that they were going to mistake that for a police officer. No. Now, if the boy was dressed in police officer uniform, like a disguise, then they might have a case. But no, they didn't. So let's move on. Today, we're going to get into the one chip challenge and that killed a boy. I couldn't believe this story. We're also going to get into Michigan law enforcement raiding a raw milk co-op or a raw milk farm and several other stories today. Let's start with this milk raid. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's back up here. Let's finish up Trump here. This is shocking. Now, I told you guys about this whole Caesar Trump thing. It's now blowing up. Everyone's talking about it, that the attempt happened one day after Julius Caesar's birthday, and that Trump compared himself to Julius Caesar on many occasions, and that there's a line in the Julius Caesar play about give me your ear, and of course he lost his ear. Here's the play from 2017 that depicted Trump. Apparently a knife was used. He fights off these aggressors. Then they show him slain. And look at the ear. This was in 2017. You have the same blood pattern on the right side of his face across his ear. His ear even looks a little bit mangled. Let's see if we could zoom in a little bit more, just so people are awake. This should be the thumbnail of today's video. It's almost the same exact. There was a stream of blood here and a stream below it, and his ear looks mangled, or blood coming out of the ear. You can't make this up. This is from 2017. Welcome to the Matrix. Now, one of you had just emailed me not too long ago also about the movie Snake Eyes, in which there was a similar plot and theme of a person being grazed from a sniper. And we decoded the whole movie Snake Eyes, which was filmed in Trump's Taj Mahal. And there in that plot of that movie, you see the boxing ring, and there's a boxer, and sniper shots go off and grazes one of the people. I think it was the woman. But this is simply shocking. It's shocking. Here's another knife here. This almost looks like, this is from the play from 2017 where they depicted Trump as Julius Caesar in New York City. This almost looks like they're either attacking him, but isn't it eerily reminiscent of the Secret Service grabbing Trump and throwing him to the ground? It is kind of eerily reminiscent, even though this guy's holding a knife. Wow. Now, here's the Vox article in which they talk about the play a little bit more. And I'll put links to all this. It says, so a band of elite politicians plot to kill Caesar. His friend Brutus is racked by indecision over joining the plot, but finally decides to put country over friendship and throw in with the conspirators, comparing Caesar to a serpent's egg. A serpent's egg, which hatched, would, as his kind, grow mischievous and kill him in the shell. Caesar is assassinated, though not before uttering the famous line, "Et tu, Brute," which he discovers his friend Brutus among the assassins. Wow. So, crazy, right? Just crazy times. All the connections to Caesar. Now let's get into this raid on this Michigan milk farm. Now this is very, very, very important. There will come a time where nobody's going to trust the main food supply. And there will be many, many more people who want to live off the land, and they want to trade. Listen carefully. They will want to trade with their family and friends, and even trading will not be allowed if we allow all this to continue to happen, right? And you should be able to sell your fresh raw milk, but apparently that's illegal. Michigan's raid on Nourish Cooperative. You may have already heard about this. This was back on June 18th, last month. It's a follow-up report from the government raid at Nourish Cooperative, which is a farm cooperative that provides farm fresh food. And on May 28th is when the raid happened. Briefly, on May 28th, the beginning of the nationwide fear-mongering around avian influenza and raw milk, Nourish Cooperative was raided, and over $90,000 worth of raw dairy products were put under cease and desist order, so they sat spoiling in their refrigerators while they were under seizure. Some of the healthiest food on earth tossed in the dumpster. They got inspectors to the property to witness the product disposal. Hillary and the other inspector, Christopher, the lead feed inspector, showed up to the farm around 2:30 p.m. Their job was to witness the destruction of raw dairy products in our fridges. So this is what's happening, you guys. Does this sound like freedom to you? Now, you can say all you want. Oh, it's because of Biden. You're still in the right-left paradigm. This would have happened under Trump as well. It doesn't matter who's the president. That's what we're trying to teach you guys and show you guys. This is the shape of things to come. Family farms will become a thing of the past, because they'll say that none of it's safe. Under our USDA guidelines, it could make people sick. We can't have that. You just wait until the artificial intelligence technocracy has been fully developed with 5G and real-time facial recognition. These are the kinds of things that you might think you're not doing anything wrong. But when it comes to stuff like this, you will wish you would have listened. No 5G, no facial recognition, no biometrics. We don't want it in America. That's not freedom. Now, let me check in with you guys, and we're going to get into a miracle baby. Now, this is a heartwarming story. The baby survived several days on the side of a road. Let's get into that and some of these other stories. This is the miracle baby, 1 year old, found crawling along the roadside after 2 days. This was July 11th in New Orleans. A Louisiana sheriff says a 1 year old miracle baby survived 2 days of sometimes stormy weather before a truck driver spotted him crawling along the roadside a day after his 4-year-old brother was found dead and his mother was arrested in Mississippi. How sad is that? But at least the baby survived. Wow. So, there is a God, isn't there? What else is going on? Now, we've started talking a lot about artificial intelligence being dependent on nuclear power for energy. Remember all these discussions? And you guys know my beliefs on why the blockchain was ever allowed to exist. This was a segue. It always was a segue from artificial into artificial intelligence. We had these crypto data mining centers all over the United States. And then many of you will remember we made the connection to the dam that was in the series Westworld. Remember, the dam was where the artificial intelligence was housed in the newest Westworld season. And they stored it inside the dam. And it was inside Hoover Dam, as a matter of fact, because it was drawing off of the power. It needed all of this power. Now, that season came out a couple years ago, before anyone was talking about artificial intelligence needing massive amounts of power. But yet, here we are, because they already knew. They already knew. So, they're now admitting that artificial intelligence needs all this power. And they're saying that it needs so much power that it needs nuclear power. So we're past hydroelectric power and into nuclear power. So now we're going to see these crypto mining centers segue into artificial intelligence centers. It was always the plan, as humanity can't help but continue to build their own prison. Let's read this. AI supercharges data center energy use, straining the grid and slowing sustainability efforts. Artificial intelligence boom has had such a profound effect on big tech companies that their energy consumption, and with it their carbon emissions, have surged. The spectacular success of large language models, such as ChatGPT, has helped fuel this growth in energy demand. At 2.9 watts per ChatGPT request, all queries require about 10 times the electricity of traditional Google queries. Do you see where all this is headed now? I hope you're actually hearing this. This is all headed towards some kind of miracle energy source to fuel artificial intelligence. This is when it will be revealed. It will be pitched as free energy, but it won't be free at all, because if you don't play along, your energy will be shut off. Huh. Interesting how they just allow all this to be taken out of the grid for artificial intelligence, but you and I get punished for using the grid. So here we go, the new era of mankind. Now, cancer cases have spiked, but it's not their fault. It's our fault. Obviously, this is self-explanatory. Everybody knows why cancer cases have spiked. We can't tell you, but those in the chat know. Now, this brings us to our next story, which we will get into in depth tomorrow. Trump wants to build a U.S. version of Israel's Iron Dome. The Iron Dome. You guys, Freedom Cities, Iron Domes, this is starting to sound like a nightmare from Logan's Run with an Iron Dome overhead and what appears to be freedom. But we know that freedom is really the opposite of what they tell us. Let's read a little bit about this, but we're going to get into this tomorrow because this is part of Trump's plan. His Agenda 47 is the Iron Dome. It's actually listed in there. As Republicans look toward their party convention in Milwaukee next week, the new Donald Trump-style approach to national security represents a dramatic departure from the GOP's past. 8 years ago, the party called for a military large enough to fight more than 2 major wars at once. Wow. And wanted tougher sanctions against Russia. Now, the new 2024 GOP platform talks of avoiding conflict because wars breed inflation, call for an American-built national missile defense system similar to Israel's Iron Dome. Sounds great, doesn't it? Interesting. Now, what else do we have going on here? There's a guy was mowing a lawn on a golf course and got killed. How did he get killed? A swarm of bees. Golf course groundskeeper dead after a freak animal attack. This is actually pretty rare. He was in Arizona, of all places. And he was around the 8th hole of Poosh Ridge Course at El Conquistador Golf Club in Oro Valley. Many of you might know where that is. 57-year-old had been mowing the patch of green when he was suddenly set upon by a swarm of angry bees, which stung him repeatedly, and he was dead. Unreal. Let's get into this chip challenge. Now, reason why I think you guys come to this channel is because we look at the spiritual aspects of our reality, things that people typically overlook on a much deeper esoteric level. These are our opinions about these things, but over time, our opinions have started to form patterns, haven't they? The patterns that seem to repeat over and over again, so that it doesn't sound so crazy or out of this world to speculate on these things. This is the one chip challenge. Now, I'm new to the class on this one. I hadn't heard about this. It's actually been around for a while. I didn't realize that there was a chip that was so hot that there were viral videos going around about people trying to eat it. It's literally one chip that comes in this box that you're seeing on your screen here. There were people trying to take this, eat this chip live on TV. There were newscasters trying to take the chip. And they were like, it was so hot. They were like projectile vomiting and things like this. Well, this viral sensation ended in 2023 when a 14-year-old boy died after eating the chip. Now let's break this down because there are some very important esoteric and spiritual aspects to this chip. The chip actually came in a coffin. This is the packaging. And as you can see, the box is shaped like a smashed cube. It's a skewed cube, but it is in effect a smashed cube. It's six-sided, but it's stretched. It's like a stretched cube, isn't it? Let's read this article first, and we'll get into some of the deep spiritual meaning of this chip challenge. It says here, this is the boy here who died. Harris Wolaba died on September 1st after eating the now discontinued spicy chip. He was a sophomore at Doherty Memorial High School in Massachusetts, and he died after consuming a high level of chili pepper extract. Now, the kinds of chili that they put in this thing were called the Carolina Reaper and the Naga Viper peppers that was inside of this chip. Arguably some of the hottest peppers to ever exist. But let's look at this box again, because many of you already see what I'm looking at. Notice where the flame is on the skull. That would be the pineal position of your brain. Actually, the pineal gland's a little bit lower. It's where the Q is, which is Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent. Remember, the chili is named after some of these mythic creatures. So we got Paki, the Q, Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent. Remember the videos we did on the fire ceremony, the new fire ceremony, where they would pull the beating heart out of the chest of the victim, light it on fire, and light the entire kingdom with that single flame. And these were the roots of our actual Roman Olympics. This is where they got the fire torch ceremony. It came from the ancients before them in Mesoamerica. Well, look at this. The Q is over the pineal gland. That's what the serpent wants. Christ says, the eye is the lamp of the body. If your eye is single, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is dark, you will be full of darkness. Essentially what Jesus was saying is that the seat of your soul is full of either the Holy Ghost or demonic possession. The two cannot exist together. So what I believe you're looking at here is more mockery of the lamp of the body, which I believe is your pineal gland, your single eye. This is not New Age. It's just a vessel. Your pineal gland is the space that the Holy Spirit inhabits. In and of itself, it's just a piece of flesh. It's what it contained in it. And it makes sense that there would be a part of our anatomy of our body that holds the Holy Ghost when it's inside of us. But look at this. So, it's mocking the lamp of the body being full of the holy fire, the Holy Ghost, and it's showing it on fire, right? There's the blue serpent tongue, of course, the blue bloods, versus the red bloods, which is humans. Wow. Now, how do they plan on taking over humanity? Well, with the future microchip. And so there you get the double meaning, which is what they love to do. The chip in the brain. The chip in the forehead. Notice how even the word Paki, the last letter of it, has the I, which is the eye in the forehead. Now, what else is going on? Well, now we've decoded this coffin shape, this smashed cube shape, the six-sided hexagon. This is our matrix prison, isn't it? We've shown you that. This is why beehives self-organize into hexagonal patterns, the honeycomb pattern. This is why snowflakes self-organize into a hexagonal pattern. This is the prison of our matrix, right? And it's probably due to some frequency we thought was probably the sin frequency, the somatic sin frequency. So what that means is that we have sound waves, and we know that sand and things organized can self-organize into geometric shapes when you send sound through it. How is that possible? That sounds like a miracle. Well, it's because of the sin frequency. It's all around us. And so things self-organize into these shapes. Now, we have an escape plan. That's Jesus Christ. But fewer and fewer people realize that, sadly. Even when shown all this evidence that correlates with biblical concepts. So let's break this down, because there's also a 666 in this as well. Where is it? Well, you have the 6-sided box and the 3-sided chip, which would be 3 6s. So there you go, you guys. Unbelievable. Now, what else is going on, you guys? Got a couple more headlines, I think, for you. Oh, what else is... Okay. Less and less people are getting car insurance. They're shopping their car insurance because the insurance companies are literally jacking up prices for people to insure their cars. I thought this was a story of note, because people are just done. They're tired of high deductibles, and they are tired of paying such high rates, and they're actually settling for higher deductibles, hoping that they don't get into an accident. And this is the shape of things to come for car insurance. What else is going on? Oh, check this story out. More on the scrooting. Look at this. They say here, sloping roof. This is the Telegraph. Sloping roof used by the assassin was too dangerous for our agents. So, a 20-year-old with zero muscle mass was able to scurry up onto this roof with hardly any experience. If he had any experience, it was a year, maybe. These guys are supposed to have 5-10 years of experience climbing on structures way steeper than the roof he was on. But this is the dialogue we get, as if we're stupid. Sloping roof used by assassin was too dangerous for our agents, and this is why they did not have the high ground on the other roof. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't know if you notice this, but a lot of the random footage that people capture on their cell phones, as soon as we start hearing the shots, it goes into chaos. Like, the phones start, like, the footage starts getting real shaky, and they move around and zoom. They're zooming in and out. That's not natural, especially given the fact that we saw several people in the live footage holding up their phones, and they were perfectly still. There was no zooming in and out. That's called editing. They edit out the parts that they don't want you to see where the lie is. They edited them out, and they mess with the footage. Did you guys notice the same thing? Oh, here's the story on the snipers mistaking the boy as a police sniper. Really? This is Business Insider. They thought it was another cop. Wow. Put links to all this for you guys. Now, I got some more stories, but let's finish those up tomorrow, possibly. Good morning, everybody. So it looks as though we still have power. That's good. All right, I'm in the chat, you guys. All right. Oh, there is one more story I should probably show you guys that can't really wait for tomorrow. Did you guys hear about the loud boom? It was reported in New York and New Jersey. A loud boom. Social media buzz Tuesday with reports of a loud boom noise heard in parts of New Jersey and New York. The cause of the source of the loud noise was not immediately clear. See if there's any footage of this anywhere. There were no reports of earthquakes. Oh, USGS National Earthquake Information Center received reports of shaking in northeast New Jersey and Staten Island, New York area, but there was no seismic evidence. Wow, interesting. So, I don't see any other reports on this. Did any of you feel any of that? Just curious. All right. Okay. So what are you guys' thoughts on all this? Are we crazy or is there something not right? Military madness, says Cheryl. Thanks, Truth Warrior. Uh-oh. All the world is a stage, absolutely. There was a sonic boom over Michigan yesterday. Have you seen the radar anomaly? I have not seen the radar anomaly. I have not seen that. Something is up. Yabadaba says, thanks for the live stream. Listening to most as I was driving. Earl says, something is wrong. Yes, it is. Thanks, Sarah. Much appreciated. Weird storm last night, flashing green and blue. It was flashing all night long last night. All night it was flashing. Can only talk about it here. Appreciate you. Yeah, we'll pretty much talk about anything, but we have to use coded language on this channel. So, and if they start coming after people using coded language, that's when we know it's really over. Then we're just going to get super silly. We're not even going to care at that point. We're just going to, like, be silly. To show the irony of it. That we now live in a society where you have to be super silly. To even, like, have a voice. They want to control the narrative. They want to control the voice. I've seen the radar anomaly from Antarctica, but I don't believe anything I see these days, says Bill. All right. Love you too. Thanks, Vet, for peace. Love all of you guys. I think they kept our stream again today. For some reason, they let us out of our cage a couple days ago. Gosh, that was a great show. We had like, I think it was 1,000 or 1,100 people watching the show. And then they put us right back in our cage, didn't they? Here's how it all went down over the last couple days. Here's our viral Trump shot video. Had 20,000 views with a 98.4% thumbs up rating. Usually YouTube this would be a slam dunk to reward a channel and put them in the algorithms, right? Send them to everybody. The following day, also 98.4% approval rating. Now, I don't like to complain. This is more about holding YouTube accountable as to why their algorithms are failing to promote the stuff that people are interested in watching. This isn't complaining. It's just documenting in case we ever need to go to court one day. Can't imagine a scenario like that, but you just never know. So this is all being documented. So the following day, the same approval rating. Very popular video. And you see the numbers essentially got cut in half. Now that can happen just because this was one show followed by the other. But I feel like this second show was almost better than the first show. And then we get to the last one showing a bloody Trump on the ground in 2017 in a New York play. That thumbnail alone and the title Killing Trump should have garnered a lot more views. Now this was early on in the view count, to be fair. But look at this, a 99.7 approval rating. Almost 100% of the people thumbs up the video. and this video is sitting at 6 or 7,000 views. So this is how they gradually silence people. They can't do it abruptly, because if they do it abruptly, then all kinds of flags go off and the matrix breaks, doesn't it? But I wanted to show you guys that so you know that I'm not crazy when I talk about these things. It's literally happens. And I know it's happening to a lot of channels, but it needs to be talked about, because if we stop talking about it, then you guys don't know what happens when we're all gone. You just assume that, oh, they weren't popular, or, oh, they weren't this. No, there is a concerted effort to silence the alternative media. They don't like a million eyes looking at something that they're doing, because then we find little errors, don't we? Just like the rooftop, and the sniper's literally pointing right at the guy, pointing right at him for a full minute, staring at him, two of them. Oh, we thought it was a cop. We didn't see the camo. Okay. Sure. So, there's that. All right. What else is going on, you guys? I couldn't finish watching the dragon video yesterday as it sent me into my repentance for my past. Wow, Jane. Well, that's good that God convicted you. That's amazing. Yep. Yes, I was on the Unplug 'em live stream. Got to give that brother a shout out for getting on there. You know, great information. I don't know the entirety of his channel. That was my first time tuning in. I was subscribed to him, saw him live, and so I popped in there, and there was a lot of people were in there. Days of Noah, Unplug 'em, and I don't know the rest of the group, but it was all new people over there. Had not Most of the people I saw over there I don't recognize on our channel. You know, it's strange. YouTube has us in these silos, doesn't it? Each channel has its own group of people, and then they don't really cross over. It's very strange to me. But it was really cool, and I listened to that brother for a couple hours, and he's over the target. Okay, he knows what he's talking about. I don't typically listen to a lot of other people's content, but something told me listen to his show. I saw that he was live on camera, and I was like, wow, let's listen to what he has to say. And I'd heard some of you talk about him in the comments section, so that's really, really cool. So I got to tune in. So yeah, unplug him. Thanks, Eric, for writing his name out there. All right. Oh yeah, Dabu was in the chat yesterday, and I missed him, but I reached out to him and said, "No offense, I'm sorry that I missed you in the chat yesterday." Now, when I mention channels, it's not a blanket endorsement of everything they say and do, but I realize that there's a spectrum of belief systems out there. Okay, and so there's no way for me to know exactly what these people that I've known or come into contact with have said in every single one of their live shows. And usually the first thing that people do as soon as I mention another channel name, they say, "You're aligned with this person who does that." No, that's not how it works, because there's no way for me to know all the things that people say. So that's kind of why we go on our own these days, because you know what comes out of my mouth. And so, yeah. So these are friends, some acquaintances, some people I don't really know. I'm starting to try to get to know. Like Unplug him, I don't really know his channel, but I liked what I heard yesterday. So that was cool. And he seemed to espouse some of the same concerns I did about our truth community. You know, he did mention that a lot of his work was copied or stolen. And I feel for him in that regard, because that can happen, has happened on our channel. I think a lot of it too is just crossover communication from other channels. And so we each give our take on it. I've learned not to get so serious about that. So there you go, you guys. All right. What else is going on? All right, guys, I guess I'm going to pop off of here. Glad we made it through the stream as far as we did. The lights were flickering all around me. Crazy. I love each and every one of you. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Much love.